right, Patrick Reusse. He's joining us on a Thursday here because he committed to plans on a Friday, which is always a mistake.
Yes, big weekend travel for grandkids hockey. So it's they're probably going way up in the Northwoods to play Cottage Grove or somebody like that. They travel all over the state and end up playing teams from down the neighborhood. So it's but what the hell? It's a full-time job, man. If you're hockey parents in the suburbs, it's amazing.
Yep. So all right, well the Vikings have a list of there's 8 official names they've requested. There's a couple more that I know Judd and some others have floated that aren't officially requested yet. So there's a big list here finally of GMs that really no one's ever actually heard of.
Yes.
Which is tough on the GM front. But if the Wilfs said, listen, Patrick, we love your coverage of our team and our franchise so much, we want you to be a consultant for us. What attributes should we be looking for in the next general manager of the Minnesota Vikings?
Damn, that's hard, isn't it? I want a personnel expert. Now, other people think that's what your scouting department's there for, and you got to have I certainly want someone who trusts 3 different guys, and the guys are women now in their scouting department. But I still think, with all the you got Brzezinski doing the salary cap, I still think it's bringing in players. It's not other stuff. I don't think the other stuff that surrounds the GM job means 1/10 as much as bringing in players. Right, bringing in the right players. And I think you said this yesterday, Phil. Bringing in players, appreciating value. You don't difference makers. Appreciate value. Don't overpay for the Anthony Barrs of the world, who's a good player, but not. You paid him too much money. You have to draft players at the key positions. You can't be drafting players that are easier to find in the next round. I think that to me it's a guy who knows value and personnel. Now, the league has changed. Running backs are getting robbed and things like that, but those are you gotta hit those 5 or 6 key positions and know what you're doing and spend your money there and not spend it all over the place, I think. And don't bring in a $45 million quarterback, except I still blame that on the Wilfs. I think they wanted him. I still think they wanted to make a big splash. Their big splash then was to bring in the hot quarterback, Kirk Cousins. And, don't spend that kind of money on a quarterback unless he's Russell Wilson or, at least that. When you look back at it, overruling Les Frazier on Russell Wilson was probably the dumbest thing that Spielman ever did, right?
Did that happen?
Yeah, he had him at the Senior Bowl and wanted him, thought he was great, and the Vikings took Ponder instead.
Wow.
Supposedly. Wow. Isn't that the legend, Judd?
I don't remember that part of it, but it's entirely possible.
I ran across that again looking up some stuff a couple of days ago that he wanted Russell Wilson, and Les loved him from the senior.
Yeah, he coached that. Yeah, I think he and Musgrave were on the staff there.
Yeah, it's interesting how the Senior Bowl used to be coached by the runner-up team from each conference. Now it's who's ever going to get now the staff is usually from some dog team that some guys don't get fired. I saw it again. The coaches at the Senior Bowl this year are on a couple of bottom feeders, so I guess they feel that's another advantage to try to raise parity in the league.
That whole thing with Spielman taking Ponder, and then Les wanted a veteran quarterback then, and they signed McNabb, might be one of the most sneaky, disastrous small periods for this team, because both of them were entirely wrong. And both of them left this team with nothing at the quarterback position. I mean, McNabb, who cares? But ultimately, I mean, the guy when you show up and you're talking about going to fast food restaurants for free in Mankato, I think that's probably a sign that you just signed the wrong guy.
By the way, Russell was the 2012 draft. Ponder was 11.
Okay.
But the Vikings the Vikings had the 4th overall pick, and they were drafting high in all the rounds in 2012.
Maybe that's what I read, is that he wanted to draft Wilson, even
They
though
had
they
Ponder.
already had Ponder.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I read. And no, we were tied in on Ponder, and he was going to be the man.
Well, and that kind of like one of the attributes, not to steal one from Judd here, but Judd's been talking about get a general manager and a coach too that can read people. And to this, like, let's just use this Russell Wilson, Christian Ponder thing for a second. Now that we know what we know 10 years later, it's a lot easier. But even at the time, if you had 15 or 20 minutes in a room with Christian Ponder, and then the next year you have 15 or 20 minutes or more in a room with Russell Wilson, just soaking in their personalities and their leadership, how can you not be just jarred to the core at the difference in those two guys?
That's true. And, right now, I don't know if this will be the case with the coaches, but I bet they're interviewing 80% of these people on Zoom calls for the general manager and stuff like that. I bet they're throwing names out there, but you got to sit down with somebody for a day and take them out to dinner and
get them drunk
in some back room where nobody's bothering you. And
Manny's nice back room.
You gotta make sure they don't eat with their hands and stuff like that. I mean, you gotta spend time with. These are the big jobs. You can't be doing a 2-hour Zoom call and say, "Oh, we interviewed her, we interviewed him," or something like that. They're just throwing names out there, trying to hit every demographic to make people look happy. But you gotta. If you're interviewing people, they should be actual interviews, not Zoom calls, I think. I don't know.
And
no,
I also think, Pat, that part of the thing is they request some people from franchises that are successful to basically try and just pilfer ideas and don't care about the person. So they're like, hey, Tampa Bay, what are you doing behind the scenes? So like that's a big football thing, is to try and steal ideas.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, what's the key to your franchise?
Yes, right.
Why'd you find Brady like that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or what's but so when Tom Brady tells you to go get Gronk, if Kirk Cousins tells us to go get some tight end he likes, we should do it then. Okay. I don't know. You're right. It's they might be doing that, but to me that's silly. But who knows? I don't know. But the wider this net gets, the greater idea that looks like they don't know what they want. Right? I mean, if you knew that Spielman was going for a couple of months or weeks at least, you should have narrowed down your names by now, shouldn't have you? You should have had 4 or 5 people we actually want to talk to.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think they knew for two weeks. That's the story within the story here. When the hell did they decide that Spielman was gone? Because everybody had been basically told now he's probably back,
and including him.
Well, yeah, he had.
But
you're right.
Let's narrow this thing down and get people in here and actually have conversations with them. And we all make fun of search firms, but it's not the worst. Maybe not in the NFL, you don't need them, but it's not the worst thing in the world to have these outfits that are experts on this field to say, this is what you're looking for. Here's 6 guys, and look at them, look at their stuff. And these are, the college football thing. It's all agents and search firms saying, okay, this guy's available. You can get Brian Kelly, and he'll act like he's from the South if you hire him.
Family.
People wonder how these things happen. It's agents and search firms that say, hey, this guy, you got an agent calling a search firm and say, when these openings come up, my guy Brian will take a job. Lincoln Riley will take a job somewhere else. So
it all feels like such a weird, rushed, unorganized process for hiring the people that are going to basically run. I mean, these are 32 multi-billion-dollar, valuation companies, and you fire a GM and a coach, and then you mad rush to get a list of 6, and then you do a couple Zoom interviews, and maybe you spend a few hours with these people before you make a decision, right? It just feels like the process for putting someone in a GM or a coach role for an entity that's that valuable would require like weeks of vetting.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's not. It's who knows? I mean, look at the New York Giants are being very candid. They did you see their one of the mayor's quotes? He said when they got rid of Shermer and brought in Gettleman, and he said we didn't think anything. We didn't think it could possibly get worse, and then it did.
Yeah,
So,
he said this is the most embarrassed he's been with Giants football in his lifetime.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, they just, but they admitted they screw up, and I don't know. I get the impression that the search is now a PR move that is now a public relations crusade too, with the Vikings by identifying a 33-year-old woman as getting an interview, and we're going to hit all Tell me that you're going to hire the 33-year-old woman as a new GM, then I'll react. But they're going to get tributes all around for interviewing a 33-year-old woman who I would guess has no chance to get the job.
Yeah, if they're not actually considering it, it is a little patronizing, but I guess it is progress. It's the first woman to ever interview for a GM job.
Yeah, you know what did happen on this front? You see, the New York Yankees are going to have a manager, low level of the minor leagues, though, but they're going to have a former softball star who's been in their system to some degree to manage their low-level team down in Tampa. It'll be interesting to see that. That's something that's going to be
interesting
to watch, right?
It's action too.
If she moves up, moves up. So anyway, Judd, I hate to bring this up, but I talked to Mike Hastings yesterday, Olympic hockey. They still aren't sure who's going on the team. What are they waiting for? I mean, he doesn't.
Why aren't they sure?
I don't know. I mean, I get along with him pretty good. I kept asking him, "Is your goalie going?" Dryden Mackey, the best goalie in college hockey, and they haven't named one, and he said, "I think so, but it's still not 100%."
So Pat, did you see also what Eric Stahl is going to do?
Is he going to play?
So Stahl is going down to the Iowa Wild as on a PTO to basically get his legs and get his game under so he can potentially play for Team Canada.
Really?
So he's signing I believe an amateur tryout with Iowa to go down there, and with no intention, I believe, that the Wild will sign him. It's literally just to get some sea legs under him since he hasn't played a hockey game in God knows how long.
How long has he been out?
Judd, was he in the league last year?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was, right?
In fact, he went to the finals with Montreal last year.
Oh, really?
He got traded from Buffalo to the Canadiens.
Did he retire to spend more time with his family?
I don't think he retired.
I want to go to China for a month.
He's still living in Minnesota.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah. I don't think he quit playing. I think the league quit on him. Yeah. Yes. But so are kids not have kids not decided if they want to go? Is that like with Dryden McKay? Is he undecided?
I don't know if they might, maybe they got 3 goalies in mind and they're waiting to decide which one. Maybe they know, but it's I mean, they haven't announced the squad yet. I don't here's the difference. And we talked about it. When Herbie was playing college kids, veritable infants to play the Russians, as Such once wrote, they were together, 9 months?
Yes, they had a whole. They had a camp. They played games.
You knew you were playing that season without them. They were
correct.
They were off playing.
They never played college until after the Olympics. Correct.
So this is going to be, but. Okay.
What's it going to be?
We handled that yesterday, our concern about hockey, but it is interesting that they still haven't told us what the team is. And I see more COVID. St. Thomas had to call off their basketball game tonight against North Dakota State because they got the COVID. So
I'm glad you informed us of that. I feel like I feel like we should probably have known that so we could
Yes.
reschedule things on
Since
AM
he's on
1500
for our
tonight. So.
team. That's
Pat
right.
just broke some news for me.
Yeah,
And
somebody-
Declan's
somebody will
going to have
say it.
some log work to do this afternoon.
Yeah.
That's right.
Dang
That's
it.
right.
The
That's
two
right.
people in charge of programming were just told by Assistant St. Thomas Athletic Director Patrick Reusse.
I just happened to note that, but
I'm glad you did.
Oh my God.
I feel good that the Fouch told us yesterday we're all going to get it. Didn't you think that?
Yeah.
yesterday?
By the way, I think we're losing Pat's connection there. I think the
What happened?
It sounds like either the U.S. government or the St. Thomas Athletic Department put gremlins in Pat's internet connection there.
Let's try this again. Actually, he might be back now.
Okay.
Here you go.
Are you
Yeah.
back with us? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
We're all gonna get the vid.
I said yesterday the Fouch told us we're all going to get it probably after all the fight. How do you think the new show us your vax mandate is going to work in the bars in, let's say, Northeast Minneapolis?
Yeah,
You
have
know,
fun. I can
that's
tell you
crazy.
here in the Pacific Northwest, that's been a
Yeah.
thing for like the last 3 months, and it's always tough when because
Somebody showed-
every time someone who works at the bar has to ask that question, they're either asking for a fight or losing business. So it's
yes,
good luck.
or you should, basically you're going to come in and show somebody a business card, and they're going to say, "Oh, okay, good,
Looks
thank
good."
you," right?
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah. And if we're all going to get it, what the hell? Let's
Just
take our shot.
cross your fingers and hold on.
Yes. Yes, that's true. What else we got going on this weekend, fellas?
Well, how bad is
the
Eric?
Gopher- How about a tribute to our Gopher basketball team?
Yeah, how bad is Eric Curry's injury? He
Didn't
was in a
look
walking
good.
boot after the game.
Did not look good. He'll miss at least a week. At least they can go to that depth up front where their backup center is a 6'5" kid from Grand Marais. But God, they played their arse off in the second half. It was amazing. They had a chance to pull that out. And the Gopher fans are upset about the officiating, but nothing new there. But it was amazing that they hung in there. And I'll tell you, maybe it's his old age, or maybe he's always been that way. But Izzo is world-class screamer at the officials, man. He is,
Oh yeah.
There was a call against him like 2 trips down the floor earlier, one of his big men, and he was just reaming this guy out like when there was a dead ball with his hands up saying, "Oh, his guys." It was does he like his cocktails, by the way?
He looks like he enjoys a cocktail. Yeah, he's got the nose.
That red face, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
The red face. He looks like he might sit around at the bar afterwards, and I'm not. It's just a.
He's got whiskey nose. He's got
From
whiskey nose.
From one old alcoholic to another. I just think he kind of, he's got that look to him. But they're 7-0 in the league, but they didn't look like it last night. The Gophers really went after him. It's it's going to get. I'm not going to say it's going to get ugly, but if they don't have Eric Curry, oof. And Eric. Now this was not one of Eric's getting hurt things. I mean, the battle landed on his ankle, and there was nothing he could have done about it. But it was inevitable that Eric was not going to play the full schedule, playing 36 minutes a game, wasn't it? After his track records.
It was probably predictable that at some point in time he'd get hurt given his history. But Ben Johnson, the more I watch this team, that guy can coach.
Yes.
Like I think he's really good.
Yeah,
They found something here.
He actually coaches. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
our guy Richard has the COVID down there, missed the last 2 games, and I saw they played at UNLV without him 2 nights ago and got beat by 30.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, how are they doing? Do they have any wins?
Bad. They're bad since the Mountain West started. He's got Mashburn putting her up 15, 18 times a game, and another kid named House who's a transfer from Arizona State, and they shoot a lot, and not well so far. But he was the difference is he was getting his transfers from Minnesota and Arizona State, but his transfer from Kansas, I told you guys that last week. The kid went, the big kid, 7-footer, quit the team December 19th, and then he was in a near fatal car accident on December 30th back in Kansas. And I think he's still alive, but it doesn't sound like he's going to make it. So,
Oof.
so it hasn't been a happy transition for Richard yet.
No, I don't think this is how he envisioned his career path going.
Career going.
Yeah.
He got a job
Yeah, I did.
immediately. I mean, it's fine.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yes.
Well, we have to do some work now that Pat has broken the St. Thomas news to us. So we're gonna say goodbye.
2 hours live tonight from Declan. Phil,
Exactly.
and Judd filling in.
Enjoy the kids' hockey, Patrick.
Giving you their insights on St. Thomas athletics. How about the? That'll be good.
Yep. Next
Amazing.
up, the wrestling report. Enjoy youth
Yeah.
puck.
St. Thomas doesn't have
AEW
wrestling.
tonight.
You might want to know this. St. Thomas doesn't have wrestling.
Okay, good. So
Good enough.
Intramurals,
Thank you,
okay?
Pat.
Yeah,
Break
Appreciate it.
down intramurals
peripheral
next.
programming with Judd that we were going to.
All right. See you guys.
All right, see you
Bye.
guys. All right. Okay, it's a wrap. Wrapping with Reusse here, Mackey and Judd, scoring at the YouTube channel.